Two people, same £3,000 a year, same 30-year time frame, yet one ends up with £150,000 and the other ends up with £560,000. The only difference is which ISA they are putting their money into, and most of you watching are probably on the wrong side of that gap. So today we need to talk about what these different ISAs actually are, where most people are going wrong, and then we talk about how to fix it by backing it up with real numbers. So the UK government offer a variety of different ISAs that people like you and me can take advantage of tax-free. And although all of them are great, they do serve different purposes. First of all, we have the Innovative Finance ISA. Now this does sound a little bit complicated, and it probably is one of the least used ISAs because it's more to do with peer-to-peer lending. But if that is your thing, then it is a great option. Next, we have the Lifetime ISA, and this is a great one for people who are saving up for a house deposit or are looking to put some more money into their retirement. Now, I personally took advantage of the Lifetime ISA when I was saving up for my first house, so I have nothing but good things to say about it because it was basically free money, a free contribution from the government towards that house deposit. Next, we have the Stocks and Shares ISA, which many more people will be familiar with because people like me don't stop talking about it. And this, of course, is excellent for getting exposure to the stock market. And last, we have the Cash ISA, the ISA that feels safe, the one that most Brits do adore. But can the Cash ISA actually be a very costly mistake? Before we run the numbers and compare these different ISAs, we need to talk about why the Cash ISA can actually be a big problem. Very simply put, in just one word, it is inflation. Inflation is consistently killing your buying power. Now, what I mean by this is if you go back 20 years ago, you could get a lot more for your money for £10 than what you can today. And the same will apply in the next 10, 20 years. That £10 is going to continue to be worth less and less. I mean, a great example of this is the price of Freddos, something that us Brits love to talk about. And the price of that chocolate bar has definitely changed over the last few years. Now, just to explain how this works, let's run some numbers based on the current situation in the UK at the time of recording. Now, we know that interest rates and inflation do continue to change all of the time. But just to paint the picture, here are the current numbers. The average lazy cash ISA is currently offering around a 3% return. And the reason why I call this a lazy cash ISA is because most people don't put the effort in to shop around and find the best interest rates. Most people just accept what their current bank provider is offering them. However, inflation is currently at around 2.8%, meaning that these basic easy access cash ISAs are currently beating inflation by just 0.2%. And yes, you are technically beating inflation there, but it's not exactly going to help you thrive financially. However, let's compare this to the S&P 500, which historically returns an average return of 10% a year. This means that when we adjust this for inflation, you are still going to see an annual gain of 7.2% on average compared to that 0.2%. And just to clarify, an S&P 500 index fund is something that you can take advantage of with a Stocks and Shares ISA, of course, tax-free. So let's put the numbers side by side and see how they stack up with real figures. As an example, let's say you invested £250 every single month. This is £3,000 a year. And over a 30-year time frame, based on that 3% return in your cash ISA, you're going to end up with around £150,000. Now, of course, that isn't bad at all. However, if you was to invest that exact same amount consistently over the exact same time frame, but you put that money into an S&P index fund, you are estimated to end up with around £568,000. Now, to me, them numbers are absolutely wild because you're going to end up roughly around £400,000 better off. And even if we adjust the S&P 500 for inflation, you're still going to end up with just over 325k, which is double the amount in a cash ISA. Now, that is a huge, huge difference, and everybody should be thinking about how their money can work for them. But I know what some of you will be thinking right now. I just don't have £250 a month to invest. Well, number one, it's not about the number. I'm just painting the picture of how different a cash ISA any stocks and shares ISA can really be. And number two, this is exactly why I put together bank statement breakdowns every single week. You will be surprised how much money is being wasted by the average person. With just a few tweaks and changes, we often find that people can make the odd sacrifice here and there to start investing for their future. And just to be clear here, we don't expect everybody to completely sacrifice their whole social life and kill all enjoyment. Unless you're gambling £500 a month, we're a little bit more harsh with those people. The idea really is just to make a few small sacrifices, a few small compromises to get a good balanced life so you can still enjoy yourself, but you can also plan for your future to reach financial freedom that little bit sooner. If you want to check out these bank statement breakdown videos, I'll leave a link to the playlist at the top of the screen right now, and you'll also be able to find it down below in the description. Ultimately, hoarding cash might not be as safe as you think it is when you start to understand the real impact of inflation. And sure, I do completely accept that investing into something like the S&P 500 does carry more risk than a cash ISA. Some years things are going to work out pretty good. You actually might get a return higher than 10%, but other years are going to be bad, where you see returns lower than that 10% average. But at the end of the day, over a long enough time frame, that 10% average is pretty much what you're aiming for. You just have to get comfortable with the ups and the downs and a little bit of volatility here and there when certain people open their mouths. But I quickly learned to understand that it really doesn't matter in the short term, and it is something that you do get used to. At the end of the day, do keep in mind that I'm not telling you to go and invest in some new speculative AI stock. We're talking about the S&P 500 here, which is basically a representation of the 500 biggest public companies in the US. Nothing's guaranteed, I do get that, but they are pretty safe as far as investments go. However, if you do want to learn more about these stocks and shares ISA, how to get started, how it works, what it's all about, I did do a full deep dive guide on this not so long ago. So again, I'll leave the link on the screen somewhere right now so you can click it and go and check it out.